Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It's early Saturday morning. I wanted to get this video out highlighting the Hot 10 list from CBSI. Books that are on the move this week. Some of these books shouldn't be a surprise. They were talked about earlier in the week on my previous videos. Coverprice.com also highlighted a few of these books. So let's just run through the list, and there's a couple other ones in here that are worthy of looking at that are also new on the list. So let me jump into that. All right, let's jump into number 10 on the list, which is Reaver #1. This book just came out. I believe this is an Image title. Writer is Justin Jordan, artist Rebecca Isaacs. It's selling around $10 range. Apparently, though, you can still pick this up for cover price through certain retailers. I don't know much about the story on this book. Kind of has a post-apocalyptic look to it, though. I'll have to do more research on it, but that could be a book worth picking up. There's some people, it's probably not a bad idea, actually. Just any new Image book that comes out, just buying the first issue is probably a good way to go. This one could be a good long-term play. I'll have to look at it a little bit more in detail, but yeah, that's one to keep on your radar. If you're at your local LCS and they have that on the wall, you may want to grab it. Number 9, No One Left to Fight #1. I believe this book came out last week. It's now in the $10 to $15 range. It definitely has a anime feel to it. The story premise, I guess, is decent. A lot of people said the book was pretty good when they read it. Aubrey Sitterson, I don't know much about the writer. If I remember right, I think he used to do. I think it's a male. I think he used to write on G.I. Joe or a couple IDW books, so that might be a decent pickup. I don't think I'm going to spend $10, $15 for it. If I run across it at a local comic book shop for cover price, I might grab it, but that may be one to keep on your radar. Number 8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #51, the Rhode Island Con variant. So this book, I was looking on eBay about a week ago when that 95 blew up, and I did see this for around $75 to $100. Obviously, it wouldn't have been a bad pickup. It sells around 170. Well, the last one just sold for 175. Pretty rare book, though, I would imagine. It says there's only one on auction right now, so the hype is pretty high on this right now with this new character. I don't know that it's going to die down anytime soon either. There's number 96 is going to be a highly anticipated book. IDW is probably going to take advantage of it. The print run is going to be very, very high. So there's also that discussion in the comic book community. Was 95 first full appearance? Doesn't appear so. It looks like a first appearance. A little bit better than a cameo. But the first full is probably going to be number 96. So these earlier appearances, this is her first appearance before she turned into a turtle. So yeah, these are going to be hot books for a while. I don't imagine the hype is going to die anytime soon, especially since the book is so close to the 100th issue. So you're going to see a lot of people chasing down some of these back issues for a while. So expect that to be a hot book, I think, for quite a while. Number 7 on the list, Captain Atom #42. The reason this book's on the list is that it's the first appearance in continuity in DC for Death. So the Sandman series was her first appearance, number 4, and then Death was introduced into the DC universe technically with this issue. $10 book, that might be worth. I mean, it's an older book. I don't know how you'd run across this book in a dollar bin. I don't ever find books like this in dollar bins, but you might be able to find that in a back issue archive. Some shops might keep obscure issues. Captain Atom, though, a very obscure title. I mean, that's pretty much going to be an eBay thing. So, if you want to chase it, obviously that with that show on Netflix coming out, this book could get a lot hotter, no doubt about it. Number 6 on the list is Go Go Power Rangers, number 21. I don't know much about Go Go Power. I've never collected a Power Rangers comic book. Says it sold out very quickly and is now in the $10 to $15 range. There's also a 1 in 20 Tragic Kingdom homage. So, this is a whole nother universe of collectors. I don't know much about Go Go Power Rangers other than I kind of snicker at their TV show every time I run across it. My son had a little phase there where he was watching the show. It's obviously very corny in my opinion, but hey, everybody has their thing. So that's number 6 on the list. Number 5 is Paper Girls number 1, Brian K. Vaughan, Cliff Chang as the artist, and it's a good title. I collected the first 20 issues of Paper Girls. I thought it was really good. It definitely had that 1980s nostalgia feel to it. Some of you who are old enough to remember the 80s, which I am. So it was kind of cool to see a lot of references in the book from that period. It's a cool title. I enjoyed it. It ran out of steam for me. So Brian K. Vaughan is a good writer overall. I don't have anything negative to say about him. I think he crafts a good story. He definitely does a good job in planning out plotting points. So that's a good title. I don't know what Raws are going for. I would imagine if the 9/8s are $100, a Raw would probably be $25 to $30 typically. So that might be one that you might be able to still find that pretty cheap in some local comic book shops. I don't think a lot of shops are paying attention to that title too much. Number 4, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, number 19, the Alex Cal 1 in 10 variant. This is in homage to Prince, Purple Rain, obviously on the motorcycle with the purple background, the purple lettering. Cool looking book, no doubt about it. I don't know if it's cool enough to justify $500, but this, even though it's only a 1 in 10, you would think there'd be more copies out there, but apparently this is a fairly tough book to find. So that would be a book that, I don't know if you'd run across that in a comic book store or not, but that would be an interesting book to pick up if you could get it really cheap. Number 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 51. Discussed this earlier. First appearance of Jenka. It's a $35 book. The 1 in 10 sketch is a $100 book. So there's going to be a lot of people tracking this down. I wish I had known about it when I bought 95. I think the book was already moving, though, by the time I really found out about that. So, maybe a month or two from now, you might see the price drop a little bit. But that book's going to be hot for a while. That first appearance, I don't think anybody's going to sell that book at a discount. It doesn't seem that way. Number 2 on the list, Sandman number 1. Talked about this in my last video. Definitely a hot book right now. The Netflix show coming out. If you go on eBay right now, raw sales are easily over $100 in high grade. You can get a mid grade, like a 6 or a 7, for around $75, which isn't too bad. My view is this book's not that old, so I would go high grade as you can. 9/8's going to be probably $400 to $500. It says 9/6 are now up to $300. That's about what you're going to pay right now. There might be a little bit more juice when the TV series comes out. You could see this get a little bit more heat on it, especially if it's a really good if it's done well. You could see these spike even more. But you're definitely buying high, hoping it goes higher at this point, right? I was hoping about a year ago to find a nice high grade raw copy around $75, and I probably could have found it eventually, but it wasn't easy at the time. Even back then, people were wanting a good deal of money for that book. So you never know. That might be one of those things that it might be sitting up on a wall of a comic book shop and has been sitting there a long time. Go in, make an offer, see if the local shop owner would sell it to you at a discount, especially if it's been on the wall for a long time. They may do that, especially if they don't know that there's a TV show due to come out on that book. That would be probably one good way to see if you could track down a nice copy. Number one on the list is the San Diego Comic-Con variant of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 95. Shows her on the cover in color with a white background. Pretty cool looking cover. So it says here, okay, so our rule is no pre-sales. This one is technically still in the pre-sale phase, but live copies are floating around and have sold close to the $200 mark. So it gets on the list this week. There will definitely be a mad rush at the San Diego Comic-Con next week for this. Yeah, so this is one of those books. Yeah, it's going to be $200 plus book. I think at the con they're supposed to be selling for $10. So yeah, I would imagine the first day of San Diego Comic-Con there's going to be a lot of people in line. There's probably people in line right now. Actually, I would imagine the first 100 people or so, 200 people are going to pick that up. They're going to rush right to that booth. Yeah, that definitely is going to be a hot book for a while. So, yeah, at this point, yeah, you're going to be paying very, very high retail. Give it a few weeks. I think that book could calm down a little bit. Hard to say, though. But, yeah, it definitely looks pretty cool. Definitely going to be a limited print run on that. I don't know how many they're going to print. I think there'll be more news coming out during the con. I'm sure we'll get some reports of how many copies there were. There'll be a website, maybe even CBSI will report on that. Who knows? Notable mentions, Mad number 1. Obviously, a lot of people know about the cancellation of Mad Magazine. The title, I think, ran for 67 years. So issue number 1 is a marquee issue. Notice Alfred E. Newman is not on the cover. I don't think he shows up until issue 20-something. So a 3.5 just sold for $1,000 and a 7.0 for $3,100. Yeah, I mean, that's a piece of history. That's an important magazine. A lot of kids grew up reading that. I definitely remember reading some copies of that. So, yeah, for people that are really into that magazine, that would be a grail to pick up, no doubt about it. The other one is Impulse number 28. First Arrow White, several sales in the last couple days in the $14 range. This was a $1 book. Don't know why this is even on there, but maybe there's something going on with that character. Who knows? So that's the top 10 list, guys. I also wanted to show real quick. I had mentioned this in my video, the Kickstarter on this comic book. And this thing, I guess there was a variant that came out on this book. The website that originally promoted it, so it's originally an Indiegogo book, a Kickstarter book by a gentleman by the name of Javin Jordan. But there is a variant that Scorpion Comics had promoted, and I know it's sold out now. I don't know if they'll even show me. Yeah, I don't see. Of course, they don't have it listed on their website anymore. And Mutant Beaver had a few copies. I don't think they had very many. Let's see if Mutant Beaver shows it. Yeah, page not found. So of course it's sold out everywhere now. See if I can find an image of it. Image, where's the image? Sorry guys, hold on a second. Yeah, here we go. Definitely a Frank Frazetta homage. A Native American with a bear skin on top of a buffalo. I mean, that is just beautifully painted. The artist was Michael Moore, I guess is the guy's name. Yeah, Monty Michael Moore. Virgin variant, originally on Scorpion Comics. This was on sale for $15. Only 200 copies produced. I bought 2 copies on Mutant Beaver for about US dollar, about $23 plus shipping. I probably paid, I paid around about $26 a piece if you include shipping. So I didn't get it as cheap as $15. I got to pay more attention to Scorpion Comics. Apparently they get some interesting exclusives here and there. But I think this is potentially going to be a hot book, especially if I think I saw that Avatar, no, it wasn't Avatar Press. There may be a more major comic label picking this up. So if the Kickstarter, I think they're almost done with the Kickstarter. He was only like $1,000 or $1,500 away from his goal. And if that sells out, you could see this book heat up. Right now on eBay, I think it's like a $35 to $50 book. There's only a couple copies for sale. I'm predicting this is going to be a $100 book. It's a cool image. People that love Frank Frazetta would definitely appreciate this. And the premise of the book really sounds cool. It has to do with a Native American tribe that were decimated, and one of the members of the tribe rises up and basically becomes a warrior to fight the injustice. And it's just, the premise of it sounds pretty cool. It's based on in the 1790s, from what I read on it. So, they've got also images of there's the regular cover, the salve and the Sistine the Sick. So that's the Kickstarter A cover. I think they also have I think that's an interior image. So the artwork looks awesome. I mean, man, it looks really good. So I'm definitely interested in this. There's another cover. It's got like claws coming out like Wolverine. It's pretty cool. I think there was also an homage to, yeah, here we go. There's an homage cover to Hulk 181, pretty cool. So I think this is going to be a good title. I'm predicting, there's the gentleman, Javon, I think his name is. So I think this is going to be a title that's going to get some heat on it. It looks really cool. The artwork looks awesome. The story sounds really good. And I love that Frank Frazetta Virgin variant. So we'll see where it goes. It's definitely not a mainstream book. So if people that are into off the wall type of things, this could be one to look for. So yeah, there's a couple auctions or a couple buy it nows on eBay. I think the cheapest one I saw was around $35 plus shipping. So it's probably around $40 is what you'd have to pay now. So keep that on your radar. It might be something worth picking up. I do think it'll be a $100 book, especially if that title gets picked up by a major publisher or that type of thing happens. I think you could see this book do really, really well. So that's it, guys. That's all I had. I might have another video this weekend, depending on comic news and what comes out. But definitely look for my next video next Wednesday, highlighting new comic books that are coming out for the next week. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the list, some of those books. Love to hear your comments on that, and I will see you later in the week. Thanks, guys.